Hello, Epic Adventurers! What do we have for you today? Well, familiar sight, so you've probably guessed it. We're going to talk about an e-bike. Specifically today, the Magicycle Cruiser Pro. Now, I'm going to do a quick walk around. And while I'm doing this, don't forget, we appreciate your subscriptions. It's free, not charging you anything. Give us a thumbs up, let us know you're out there. Leave us some comments. Let me know how I'm doing. I'm still learning. Trying to find the lighting today for this video. There's road noise. So I'm hoping that I can take that out during edit. But today, we're going to talk about this machine, Magicycle e-bike Cruiser Pro Step-Thru. So let me get my notes and give you all the technical specs on it. And we'll start talking about the other fun stuff. Alright, so I'm going to let you stare at it for just a few minutes while I discuss some of the technical aspects about it. Some things that you can't see, some things you can see. I'm going to try to give you an in-depth review of this machine. As a first-time e-bike owner, I cannot offer opinions on what you should or shouldn't buy, but I can offer my opinion on the experience I've had with this particular e-bike. As I said, this is a Magicycle e-bike. Model is Cruiser Pro Mid Step-Thru. The model comes in bright white and dark blue. I chose the white and I'm pretty happy with that choice. Now, I'm going to go through the technical specs that's presented on the website. I'll provide you with links in the description so you can go back and read it for yourself in the event that I missed something or maybe I confuse you in my presentation. Of course, I will also do a write-up on the blog with direct links to as much information as I can that I use to make my decision. Full disclosure, I've looked at e-bikes for a few years. As we began our Wheel Epic adventures in our camper, I considered an electric scooter because of the significant lower cost compared to an e-bike. And ultimately, we went with an e-bike. Hopefully you've popped over to the channel and seen the Aventon version. I think I'm saying that correctly. That one would be my husband's bike. That was the first bike we had. We had it for a couple of weeks prior to getting this one, but they were ordered at the same time. And again, I'll go into all that on the blog. I'll go into the actual experience. I'll go into a lot more detail. And I do want to say right now while I'm thinking about it, and I may say it again, the front basket that you're seeing on here is an add-on. And I think that's the only thing that does not come with it all the time. Sometimes they'll offer it. So you'll have to just see what the packages are offered. I watched it for a while until they had several things. And again, I'll go into all the accessories in just a little bit. The Cruiser Pro is an 18-inch aluminum frame with a 350-pound payload capacity and weighs in at 76 pounds. The total length is 74.02 inches with a 46.06-inch wheelbase and a handlebar height of 44.88 inches. Recommended rider height is 5 foot 5 inches to 6 foot 5 inches. Now I'm about 5'6", 5'7", and I weigh 200 pounds, and we don't need to discuss the weight, but that's the reason I got an e-bike, so I could shuck some of that weight, I hope. All right, I digress. The minimum seat to ground height is 33.86 inches, and the max seat ground height is 39.76 inches. The seat's soft and somewhat comfortable. It's their Magicycle brand. I'm not sure if it's I'm sure they branded it. I don't know who it's made by. I did not find that on their website anywhere. If somebody happens to know, that's great. Let me know in the comments, please. Seat to pedal distance is a minimum of 28.35 inches and a maximum of 3.43 inches. Again, this is achieved by the adjustment of the seat. The battery. Let's talk about the battery. The battery is a 52 volt and it's written on the frame. So we all know what it is. 20 amp hour. Takes about 4 to 6 hours to fully charge, and it locks in with a key. What's also really nifty, let me show you the key. What's also really nifty on this particular one is you have this button that you can press. It shows you the level. Let's see if we can get a better angle on it for you. Again, like I said, I'm working on the lighting. It's hard to see right now. So anyway, you can press that button and you can get an idea of the battery level. I don't know how accurate it is. I don't press it as I ride down and compare it to what's on the display. So The battery can get up to an 80-mile range per charge, providing that power to the rear wheel. That's a hard one to say. Brushless gear motor with a rated of 750 watt and a peak power of 1,000 watt, climbing 20-degree hills fast and steady. You got a half-twist throttle with 7 pedal assist levels and a Shimano 7-speed gear shift system. There's 3 models to this bike. There's 3 modes to this bike: throttle, pedal assist, and pedal, which you can easily switch between these modes while riding based on factors such as terrain, battery life, and your physical condition. You've got leather wrapped grips. I need to slow down. Got a lot of people showing up right now in the park, so I'm trying to get this done before anybody happens to come over. You've got a full color LCD with a USB port, which is controlled with a 4-button control module mounted on the handlebar. So here is your control module right here. You have 3 buttons there, and you have 1 button here. Here's your LCD. And the USB port is right here. You have to peel that off, and it is quite cumbersome, I will say. There needs to be a better way of doing it, because the other downfall is you can't tilt the screen. It's kind of stationary. So anyway, it is right there for the sakes of documenting. Boy, I cannot talk. Again, apologies. I'm not a professional videographer, speaker, none of that stuff. So let's go back to the rear cargo rack. Holds up to 55 pounds. It did come with that cool blue and black bungee cord that locks in. The optional front basket holds up to 22 pounds. I'm not going to go into details on that basket at this point, but I will tell you it's an exciting adventure to get a basket on the front of this bike. The 26-inch Kenda 4-inch fat tires with a reflective stripe holds the entire package to the terrain and are a great choice for sand, snow, mud, and even just wet pavement. They're also puncture resistant. I'm going to give you a kind of a close-up here, and it's not easy to see, but you do have the white reflective stripe. And you can still see got a good bit of tread still on there. Thank goodness. Haven't ridden it that much yet. I'll get the mileage in a little bit. To stop this machine, you have Step-Thru 180mm hydraulic disc brakes, front and rear. There's your Step-Thru logo. And you have comfort grips that are aluminum, featuring a motor cutoff switch. Front forks are alloy hydraulic by Zoom, featuring a rod lock system. These do not, I don't think, have the Zoom logo on them, but their website did say they were by Zoom. You have a front light and you have a rear light, and they're both integrated, meaning they're part of the wiring of the bike and they go off the battery provided on the bicycle. You have a handlebar mounted bell that did come with it. This is listed as a Class 3 e-bike. Magicycle offers a 15-day return policy, a 2-year warranty, and I'm going to say their prices change a lot, so you need to check back. Overall, the Cruiser Pro and the Cruiser are the same bike, and visually the only difference that I have been told is this Step-Thru brake indication that you will see. Other than that, I think the battery is also different, voltage wise, and I would imagine you could contact Magicycle, because I had to ask for some differences. Now, how fast can it go? The default, 20 miles per hour, which is what the battery is optimized for, and how the company came up with the distances and hours on full battery charge. It can reach 28 miles per hour if you choose to get into the settings and adjust. I can provide a link to the instructions in the video description below. Now, that's all the official specifications, and you can find these on their website, and I will link them in the description and, as I said earlier, on our blog. I'm going to go off script here, and I'm going to tell you in my own words about this bike. We purchased it November 29th, 2022. Christmas presents. It shipped December 2nd, 2022 from California, and we got it December the 9th. Now, as I said, I had researched it for a while, as I do most things, especially since there's not a dealership of sorts where you can go and test drive the many e-bikes that are out there. And that's a good chunk of change to let go of sort of blindly. I had watched prices fluctuate, and the accessories they included changed a lot. When I finally made the decision to go with an e-bike, I checked Magicycle again and saw they had a really great package deal that included the bike with fenders. And I'm going to add the fenders are plastic, and I will probably say this again. They are plastic. Weight-wise, that's probably a good decision. I don't know if I would have wanted aluminum, to be honest with you. I guess plastic may be easier to care for, cheaper to make, but by no means does it decrease the quality, I think, of this bike. The kit that they got me included the fenders, the bell, the lights, the rear rack with a bungee, a helmet, a Bluetooth speaker, mirrors, front basket, and lock. Now, you don't see mirrors, you don't see a helmet, you don't see a speaker, and you don't see a lock, because all those things are still trying to cross the ocean because they get shipped from China. Again, the bike was shipped from California. Before I expand on accessories, let me jump back into the bike. They include a toolkit, and I was missing one Allen wrench, but I was able to assemble the bike with these tools. I highly suggest you go through and make sure everything is tight, even if you didn't install it. Check everything. You never know. After assembly, I noticed the handlebars had a very large amount of play when we investigated it. Let me just show you. Right here was very loose. So we had to loosen the LCD, lift it up, and tighten back here. We did not assemble that I recall. I think we had to twist this coupler right here around. It was twisted around. We had to flip it 90 degrees, I believe, to put the handlebars on. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that was not something we had to assemble. It came that way, so it was loose. When you unbox it, don't throw away anything connected to the front forks. The lever down here on the front spoke, this one right here, is part of the packaging, and it's required to go through the axle and lock in your front wheel. It does make it easy for somebody with some ill intentions to take it off. So if you're going to lock the bike up, I suggest you use a lock that allows you to go between the wheels and the frame and whatever you're locking it to. So make sure you lock all the wheels and the frame all together. And I can show you a lock later that we've gotten for now. I know there's one on the way, but we went ahead and got another one. I'm just a little suspicious of it coming out during the ride, so I do catch myself looking down there often. Okay, it may not sound like it, but I do really love this bike, and I'm going to show you how many miles of love I just put on it in just a few minutes. Let's talk about the looks. It's a typical cruiser, a little bit of bulk because of the battery and the controller. So you have your battery here, that's the black thing, and then you have a controller on the front. And I imagine that's all your electronics, because all your wiring is hidden into the frame, and I do like that. There's a lot of bulky wiring here at the handlebar, but that's to be expected when you're trying to bring all the electronics to your brakes, to your LCD, to your gears, everything. As most bikes have a lot of wiring up there. So you just have to pay attention to that wiring. The fat tires are really cool. It really does help you keep your balance. I don't really have balance issues, but I also don't feel like I'm going to fall over from like riding the little skinny tire bikes, the more sportier bikes, I guess you would call those, more professional rider bikes. This one's certainly a cruiser. That is the definition of a cruiser right here, what you're looking at. The tires do make a bit of a noise on the paved and blacktop pathways, but that's to be expected. It's like the mud tires of my Jeep. No big deal. The seat is a typical seat compared to my old school bikes I had as a kid, and I'm going to be upgrading it soon, and that's going to lead me to the next point about this bike. As a woman who stands about 5'6", 7", I said earlier, a little over 200 pounds, this bike does carry me without so much as a whimper from the motor. The only thing really awkward for me is mounting the bike. I have the seat all the way down, and I've removed the reflector. Didn't see a need for the reflector anyway, because the rack, you can't see it. And I do struggle getting on and off the bike. So what I've had to do is adjust and adapt. I put the bike a little lower than me and I step over it. I can't step through it. I just don't have the limber enough legs to step through that section right there. It's a little harder for me. I'm going to mention too, while I'm here, you have 2 bolts for a bottle holder. They do not have a bottle holder that comes with it. You can order one off their site. You can probably, well, I know you can get one at most of your department stores, bike shops, and it will fit. I have one. I'm not really fond of it, and I took it off. And I may add it back on at another point. I'm not really sure. That location for that bottle holder is just a little bit less than desirable to me. I think it would have been better if we'd have had it down here. And I may end up adding one later that kind of velcros to that post, the seat post. When I put something on the rear rack, and I can show you later, I just can't throw my leg over. It's a bit of a struggle. But never fear, I've always found a way around that by positioning the bike lower. Let's talk about being in the seat. I'm going to get on it and show you what it looks like from a rider's perspective. One thing you will notice first is the display. It's okay, it's not a deal breaker, but I wished it was adjustable so I could tilt the base toward me at times or away from me based on my lighting. So let me get geared up and get on it. All right, welcome back. Here's the rider's perspective. Let's go over real quickly the common things here that you'll see on a bicycle. You have on your right hand side your leather wrapped grip, your half throttle, you have your brake, you have your gear, 7-speed gear control, you have thumb. It can easily be accessed with your thumb, and I like that. I really like that capability. I can just use my thumb to go between the gears. This is to go down, this is to go up. I like that. You have your LCD display. I'll turn that on in just a few minutes. Let's move on over. You have the bell, you have the control, all of your 4-button controls, again, leather grip, and your brakes. So let's jump right into this LCD. I am not going to go over it in great detail. I want to do a separate video when I learn a little bit more about it and take you through everything in the LCD and the options that it allows you to choose and go through, which would also educate me on it as I educate you. Well, let's turn it on. First of all, you turn it on by pressing this button in the front. Hold it in. You see the logo comes up. Do not hold the brake when it's coming on. You will get an error. Let me demonstrate that real quick, because I did that a couple times and could not figure out what I was doing wrong. So I'm going to hold the brake in and turn it on. And I'm holding the brake still. You can see my hands on the brake. And you get an error code. Let go of the brake and it goes right into its normal boot up process. Now, let me jump into something that's really out of sequence here. Right there is your PAS, pedal assist. And there's your tripometer, right? Pedal assist is at 1. I don't like that. I would prefer that it goes to 0, as I showed you in the Aventon. If you'll go back and look at that one, you'll understand why, but I'm going to explain it here as well. I'm going to put it in 0. I'm going to show you the throttle. I am pulling the throttle and the bike is not attempting to move, because that means PAS 0 means it's all pedal power. No electronics, no throttle, nothing. I'll put it in 1, and I'm doing 1 by pressing the plus, and I twist the throttle. The bike takes off. See if you can see it take off. See it take off? All right. And I'm just barely twisting this throttle. It doesn't take a lot. There's not a lot of play in it. So, let me put it back on 0 so I don't mess up. Here's the problem I have, Magicycle. I think you need to reset this computer to 0. I don't even know if it should be done at stopping. I don't know if it should be done only on power on and power off. Power on and power off at a minimum. Because if you happen to power this bike on and then climb aboard, and you accidentally twist this throttle, this bike is going to get away from you and leave you sitting back, probably on your butt. And as I attempted to say in the last video, I'm going to say it this time. That's a 10K video or a hospital bill. It really depends. I'm not a gambler. I try my best to remember to set this to 0 before I turn it off. Now, if I get off of it for any reason, like I'm doing the video, I get on and off and I'm going to leave it on, I still make sure it's in 0. I think I turned it to 0 when I got here in my video location, and when I turned it back on, it was on 1. So I'm going to experiment with that a little bit before I 100% say that is the case. So I will probably add something to this on the blog once I do a little bit more investigating. Nonetheless, pedal assist levels, you get through them by pressing the plus and the minus. So let's do the plus and take you through them. You have 7 levels. 7 meaning no pedal, all battery. Okay? And as you decrease the number, you increase the pedal requirement. That's probably the best way to describe that. Now, you have your battery level up top in the upper left-hand corner. You have the time. You have a nice little compass indicator. You have your miles per hour, your speedometer. You have your trip. And if you press the middle button, which is an I, it takes you through those different settings. You can do this while you're riding. You've got your odometer. And that does say ODO, 79 miles. You have maximum mile per hour is 13. Average has been 5.1. And 3 minutes. That's probably how long it's been on this time because it resets to 0. And trip is 0.9 miles. So that's what I put on it today. I try to reset it. So 79 miles total on this bike. That's how much love I have right now. And folks, that's a lot for somebody who just got the bike and for somebody who hasn't ridden bicycles in a long time or been on motorcycles. This is definitely kind of giving me that wind therapy feel when I can't have my motorcycle with me. And I really do enjoy it. I have been learning the ins and outs of the gears and so forth. I typically ride with my gears shifted over here around 5. And I do pedal. I usually keep it in 1 and 2. I have gotten it out of pedal assist level. I went to 3 one time just for fun. And I still just find 1 and 2 is comfortable for me. I have also found what I think is cruise control. And let me explain to you what I think that is. I'm going to have to do, again, another experiment with this. But when you twist your throttle and you hold it, say you're holding it like a motorcycle throttle, you twist it, right? I have found that if I hold it there for just a few minutes and get my speed to where I want it to be and I let go of it, it maintains speed. Now, it did it to me on the way over. I got up to about 12 miles an hour, and I let go of it, just almost like not even thinking about it. I was coming up to a stop, so I let go of it, and I was still maintaining the same speed. So I hit the brakes, and it went out of that. It started decreasing the speed. If you remember, I mentioned earlier that the brakes have a motor cutoff. That leads me to believe that motor cutoff takes it out of the, quote, cruise control. And it being a cruiser, having cruise control is kind of cool if you ask me. Now, one thing I will take you into the menus is the tripometer, because you got to remember how to reset that. To get into the menus, you have to press and hold the plus and the minus at the same time for a few seconds, and you get into the menus. You use the plus key to advance through the different options. And again, I'm going to go through this much more thorough once I learn a little bit more about it and can cover it independently. You press the I when you get to where you want to go. And ironically, under display setting is your tripometer. That's all it's here, is your trip. You can hit your reset button and you can take it to go back where you were. And then we take it to the main screen. That's the main thing you need to know how to get into. So you hold your plus and minus. You use your plus or your minus to get around to display. You hit information, and then you hit information plus and minus to reset your tripometer. Again, I can go all over that in just a few more videos somewhere down the road. I'll get to it as quick as I possibly can, and I will look for some explanations online, see if I can't find some sort of a manual. The other thing you need to know about is your light. To turn on your light, you hold in the plus. Let me turn it off. You'll notice a big difference here. As soon as I turn on the light, the screen starts to give a little bit of a flicker to you, and you'll see the light indicator right there. So while the lights are on, let me get off and show you what the lights look like from an onlooker standpoint. All right, there's your headlight. And over here is your tail light, and you can see it's activated because it's blinking in your screen. I'm going to hit the brake and let you see it get a little bit brighter. So definitely visible during the day, definitely visible during the sun hitting it, because that's what's hitting it right now. And I'm going to turn it off, and the machine is now off. I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. I do have a few accessories I bought aftermarket, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pause. I'm going to set it up the way I ride it and let you see it, talk about it really quickly, and then I'm going to get on and put some love miles on this thing. All right, welcome back. What you're looking at now is ride ready. This is how I ride with it. I'm not going to go over the accessories in detail. I want to do a separate video on the accessories because they're not Magicycle specific. They're just generic accessories that I purchased. I'll give you the pros, the cons, where I got them from, the features, and all that good thing. Some of them, well, actually everything is pretty much duplicate of what we got on the Avaton, so we'll be able to cover the accessories that we use on both the bikes, and I'm also going to do a side-by-side comparison video. I'm going to take just a minute here again and please remind you, don't forget, give us a thumbs up, you know, one of those. Leave us some comments, let me know how I'm doing. I'm just trying to get some content out there that I haven't found, and just trying to do my own thing and share my wheel epic adventures with you guys, and I appreciate you taking time to watch this video so far. So here we are, ride ready. We have a bag for the back. I have installed my lock. I have a tube bag. Also, again, like we've seen in the Avaton video, holds my phone. And we have a other brand cover. Folds up nicely. Fits right there in my basket, but I don't carry it with me. I only leave that with me on home base, wherever I'm at. I don't need to carry that with me at this point. I do make sure I carry that lock with me everywhere I go. So I'm going to do a quick walk around again as it lets you see what it's like when I'm riding it. If you have any questions whatsoever, please do not hesitate to contact us. Check out our wheelepicadventures.com website and look at the blog coming out with full details. Again, thank you guys for watching. I hope you're out there having some real epic adventures.